People look back on the F1 and say, you know, it was a very clever car because it was the first carbon car, but actually it wasn't really. It was just Formula One technology, purely Formula One technology applied to a road car. So the monocoque and the body on the F1 was identical to current Formula One cars in the early 90s. Before I did the F1, I drove all the current crop of supercars. Really what I did was try and exorcise the bad things that supercars were well known for. One of those is pedal offsets, and one of the main reasons for doing the central driving position was to get rid of all those horrible offsets that you had in current supercars. But another reason for the central driving position was to make somebody feel very special. This was going to be the world's first sort of $1 million car. We didn't know it at the time, but knew it was going to be expensive. So I wanted the driver to feel special, and sitting in the middle was synonymous with Formula One. Aerodynamics has always been at the front of my mind, and having no rules in road cars, it's actually more exciting, if you like, than racing cars. So we were able to have rear wings that popped up and down. We had active brake cooling ducts that opened and shut when the brakes needed cooling. And of course it was the world's first ground effect road car. I didn't set myself any performance targets. I know people, you know, look at the top speed and say we must have, but actually we didn't. But of course, being a racing car designer, subconsciously you do everything as you would on a racing car. So the car turned out to be very light and very stiff and very efficient. And with the power we had available, it just turned out to be an extremely high performance car, which set new standards. The other part of performance with the F1, of course, is the speed. It's got a very small frontal area. If you look at it in terms of today's supercars, it's got a very low drag coefficient. The big unknown, of course, is the F1 has ram intake pressure, just like a Formula One car. It's a top air box, effectively. Very direct. I mean, if you took the air filter out, you can see the inlet valves. That's how direct it is. And we didn't know how much that was going to give us. So when we went to Air Relation and did the final top speed run with Andy Wallace, with the extra ram effect we had from the engine, we ran into the rev limiter. So we had to disconnect the rev limiter to do the 240 miles an hour. It's still, I think, the quickest normally aspirated car on the planet. When I set out to do the F1, I just tried to do the best car I could from an engineering point of view. You have no concept and no idea at all if the car's ever going to turn out to be a classic, collectible, or even iconic motor car. The fact that it has, and now 25 years on, we have the Mclaren F1 with the status it has, makes me feel very good, honestly, and makes me feel very proud about what we all achieved. Formula One technology and Formula One concept, but for everybody. iStream is a complete rethink on the way we make cars. We've stamped cars out of steel sheet since 1911, since Henry Ford with the Model T, really. And that's very, very energy intensive. It's very capital intensive. Duncan should have been in the show, he did all the work.
The underpinnings you can buy in, and then yeah, we can alter and have this the size that we want. And
has Jeff had a chance to see anything yet? Inspiration as well. Yeah. The actual strength in the car is in this bit down here. So you're actually sitting in the monocoque, and that gives you incredible crash resistance. That will take 750 litres, which is about 6 shopping trolleys.
I think we're going to be looking somewhere in a region between 40 and 60 mil for
It's a lot.
get on with the cooling.
I suppose a lot of it depends on just how much smaller this can be. Well, we've looked around the world, and there's nobody else doing what we're doing for low-cost cars. There's plenty of new ways of making cars, you know, high-end sports cars and stuff out of handmade things, but in high volume, as far as we can see, there's nobody else doing this. It's very crowded. Everything the Mclaren F1 gave you from a driving experience point of view has been taken to a new level. With T50, we have rewritten the supercar rulebook. The normally aspirated V12, the highest revving engine ever made, the fastest response time, the highest power density of any engine ever made. The manual gearbox is the lightest supercar gearbox on the planet, and it will have the best gear change. The car at 980 kilos is about half a ton lighter than the average supercar. And the aerodynamics, we steered clear of having very obvious ducts and aerodynamic forms. And actually the fan has been the element that's allowed us to keep the car pure. The interior of the T50 is absolutely even more focused than the F1. The feel of the switches, the haptics, everything is machined from solid. The whole experience of not just sitting in the center, but the way the layout is all around you and driver focus. We've just taken this to a completely new level for high-speed cars. When we designed the T50, we were absolutely focused on driving perfection. Everything we put into the design was to ensure the greatest driving experience. This is the ultimate analog supercar. To commemorate Niki.
It's kept the shape. The T50S has kept the shape of the T50 to a great degree. It's got a lot of surface here, a lot of beautiful shapes.
This is rarely, I mean, it's an NA motor car. You turn up at the track, check your tyre pressures, start the engine, warm the oil up, and off you go. This is not about lap records. I mean, if we really wanted to get serious like that, we could get over 2 tons and we could go and break some records, but that's not accessible performance for a good amateur driver. So we backed it off down to 1,500 kilos. And this is all about being fun. It'll be quick on lap times, I'm sure, but like the road car, you know, that was the ultimate road car experience, and this is designed to be the ultimate track experience. Well, the engine, Cosworth, once again, have done a phenomenal job. We gave them a target of 15 kilos and 700 horsepower.
And the gearbox, the X-Track again?
X-Track again, and it's a completely new gearbox. Very different engine and a completely new gearbox. And it's paddle shift. I just think you'd be too busy at this sort of speed on the track for an age pattern. As nice as it is on the road car, I think you'd be a bit, let's say you'd be concentrating in this car. It's in honour of Niki, the car, and his achievements and his work with me, but in particular the fan car win in Sweden, as this one is more closely related, let's say, to the Brabham, whereas that one, it's a very subtle thing with all the different modes. This is all about downforce on this car.
What a wonderful tribute to Niki, and what a wonderful job by you and the team.
Yeah, the team have done a great job. It is a good tribute to Niki. He would have loved the car. He loved engineering detail, and he would have loved the V12 and the central drive. Everything about the car he would have loved. I think all Spiders are a fantastic sort of immersive experience. 33 Spider goes another step or two said from the beginning we would do 3 variants off the same platform. Although we didn't really mention it early, everybody knew there would be some sort of open top coming because it's just a natural thing to do. And it's effectively a coupe when you pop the roof panels in, and then you've got a fully open car when you take it out. It's going to be a fun car to drive just because of what it is, and the styling and the practicality, but I think the bonus is it still has that magnificent V12 in the back. So the T33 makes over 600 PS, and at 1100 kilos that puts the power to weight ratio pretty much equal or better than a Mclaren F1, so it's going to be a pretty rapid little car. The experience of driving anything with this V12 is phenomenal. All those sensors, feelings and sounds are just going to be amplified with the Spider, because of course when you take the roof out and you have the intake right behind you and drop the glass, the engine compartment virtually becomes part of the cockpit. It's just going to be sort of V12 on steroids.